Hi everyone, my name is Remi Hakim. As Ilan said, I'm a lead engineer at Datadog working on the agent and the integrations. And I'm here today to talk about integrations and more specifically to talk about developing and testing integrations. So let's start with a few numbers. As of today, we have almost 200 different integrations. It's a number that almost doubled over the past 2 years. As Alex mentioned earlier, it's something that we want to keep growing. We want to keep adding more and more integrations to avoid blind spots in your monitoring. Out of those 200 integrations, 82 of them are agent-based. What does it mean? It means that they are run as agent checks. So you are all familiar with the agent. You know that it supports plugins. And so 82 of these integrations are run as agent checks. It also means that they are open source. You can go on our GitHub public repositories, inspect the source code. You can contribute to them. You can help us fixing bugs. You can help us adding new features. You can help us adding new integrations. And as a matter of fact, that's what happened. Over the past 6 years, we merged more than 2,000 pull requests from more than 250 contributors. So I know we have a few in the room, so I'd like to really thank you very much if you've ever contributed to the agent, if you have fixed something, if you added a new feature to the agent, to one integration, to one of the libraries that we have. Thanks a lot. We wouldn't have that many integrations without you. So what's next? We want to keep adding more integrations. We have 200 integrations now. So how do we want to keep increasing the number? Because integrations are a core feature of Datadog. Their simplicity makes it easy to monitor every component of your stack. You install the agent, you enable the MySQL integration, the Postgres integration, the Redis integration, the SQL Server integration, and it just takes a few minutes. And we want to add integrations, to keep adding integrations, to make sure that we are not missing something in your stack that would cause you an outage. So how do we do that? How do we double the number of integrations? Well, we need your help. We need contributors, we need experts to help us adding new integrations, make the current integrations be even better. And for that, we need to Datadog, we need to do a better job at including your contributions. So as Alexi mentioned earlier, in the past, sometimes it took too long to get pull requests reviewed, merged, or even when they got merged, there was some friction to release them. Like it was taking too long to release your contributions. And the reason was that until recently, the agent and the integrations were just one package. We were not packaging each and every integration. And something that we are changing as we speak. So as of today we are now starting to package integrations individually, which means that you'll be able to install and update your integrations. You'll be able to really update your integrations as soon as a fix is available. So to do that, we created 2 new repositories. So we moved all the integrations code from the agent repository to these 2 new repositories, integration score and the integrations extras. And so the difference between these 2 repositories, so the main one that integration score is the repository where all the current integrations live. So all the integrations that were living in the agent repository now live in this one repository. Those integrations, as usual, will be fully supported by Datadog. We'll be maintaining it with your help. But we're also introducing a new repository, which is integrations extras. The goal of this repository is to make it easy for you to share your own integrations. We do have many customers who developed their own custom checks for some components for which we didn't have an integration yet. but they didn't feel confident to share it with the community because it was not ready it was not community ready. There was no easy tool to do that. So we're introducing integrations extras to make it easy for you to share your integrations. The main difference between the core integrations and the extras integrations is that the core integrations will still be bundled with the agent. So we wanted to keep the simplicity that we have today. So when you install the agent, you have one package, and out of the box, you will have all the integrations. So you can just install the agent and enable the MySQL integration that will still work. But on top of that, and that won't be the case for integrations extras, but on top of that, you'll be able to individually install and upgrade your integrations. So you'll be able to do add-get install, Datadog integration foobar coming from the integrations extras, and you'll be able to use it. You'll be able to upgrade one of the core integrations. You'll be able to pin the version of an integration. So the goal was really to keep the same simplicity. So one package that comes with all the integrations out of the box, but it also gives you more flexibility. So as a user, it won't change much. It will just give you more flexibility on what version of the integrations you'll be using. As a contributor, we developed what we call the Integration SDK, which is more like a framework of tools to help you build integrations, to help you test your agent checks, and to help packaging those and distributing those integrations. So let's do a quick demo. So I'm going to show you first the integrations core repository. So this is the repository that contains all the existing integrations. As you can see, we have all integrations. Each folder, there is one folder per integration. So let's have a look. Let me zoom in a bit. That's better. Let's have a look at the Redis integration, for example. So in this folder, you can see that there is a bunch of files. So there is a README file that describes what the integration does, how to install it, how to configure it. There is a changelog that lists all the new features and bug fixes of the integrations. Then we have the actual code of the integration, so the agent check, which is the same one that was living in the DD agent repository in the past. So it's the same exact code. We have an example configuration file. We have a manifest file with some metadata, so the version of the integration, the minimum agent version it requires, a short description, etc. Then we have the requirements file. So this is the file that is used to declare what are the Python dependencies that this integration requires to run. So if you are developing a new integration and it requires a new library that's not yet shipped with the agent, you'll be able to declare it in this file so that it will be packaged. The Python dependency will be packaged with the integration and with the agent. And then we have the test file and the CI folder. So the test file is, it's a test file where you define all your tests. You define what you want to assert. You want to assert that you are collecting the right metrics, etc., etc. And then the CI folder is it's mainly a wake task that you can use to declare how you are going to set up the component that you want to monitor in the CI. So we use, for our CI, we use Travis and AppVeyor for Windows. And so in this wake file, you'll be able to say, okay, I want to run Redis on this port, and you can leverage Docker to do that. So it seems like there is a lot of boilerplate here. So there's a lot of Ruby code, but basically all it does is that it uses Redis, it uses Docker to set up a Redis cluster on Travis. So there are many files, and on first look, it seems pretty complicated to do that. Like, there are many files. So that's why we're providing tools to generate all these boilerplates so that you can focus on writing your code, writing your test. And I'm going to show you an example on how to do that. Okay, so here I'm on my development machine, and I have a service that's running, and I want to monitor this one component. So this component exposes metrics on a web interface. So let's have a look. So it's returning some JSON, and there is a value, and that's the value that I want to collect and send to Datadog to be able to monitor this one component. So I'm going to create an integration I'm going to create an integration for this one component. So this component is called Hello World. So I'm going to create a new integration in Integrations Extras. So to do that, I just cloned the Integrations Extras repository, which has the same exact layout as the core integrations repository I was showing you earlier. So I can fork this repository. And then I'm going to create a new integrations for that. So I can use some of the rake tasks that we wrote for you to generate all the boilerplates. So I can do rake, generate skeleton, then the name of the integration. So let's call it Hello World. And so what it does, let's call it, yeah. Let's create something else then. So what it does is that it creates all the boilerplate for the files I was telling you about. So it creates an empty changelog, it creates the requirements.txt file, creates the agent check code, a test file. So let's have a look, for example, at the test file. So it gets pre-populated with some boilerplate code so that you can actually run your agent check, write your own test, etc. Let's have a look at the actual code for the check. Same thing. So it comes. Like most of it is pre-written. You just have to add your logic in the check method. So if you have already written an agent check, you are already familiar with the agent check class and how to implement an agent check. So it's the same thing, like nothing changes here. So you can just add your logic here. And so let's write an integration for the service the component I was telling you about. So I actually did it already, so I'm going to show you what it looks like once it's done, once I've added the logic. So let's use the Hello World folder. Oh. Okay. Should have cleaned my environment before. Okay, so here I have all the files, so it's the same files. I just, in this branch, I just added the actual logic. So you can have a look at the logic here. What it does is that it uses a request to actually query for the URL, and then parses the JSON, and then we'll send the metric as a gauge to Datadog. So it will send the value to the gauge as Datadog with some tags. And I wrote a test for this. So the test will just tests against a local local version of the application I want to monitor, so the Hello World application. And so it means that in order for the test to pass, I need to actually run locally this component. And so the test will then run the check and assert that there is the metric is properly collected with the right tags. So as my component can be packaged as a Docker container, I actually created a Docker container that runs my Hello World application. I can leverage that in my CI to actually start this container. And so it's what I did in the CI. In the CI folder, there is a reg task where what it does, it just starts the Hello World container. And that's it. So all the boilerplate of this file was automatically generated. I just had to edit a few things to tell the CI to use this Docker image and to add my code, to add my test, and to list the dependencies that I needed to use. So here I need the request Python library for this integration. So then I can do rake CI run Hello World. And what it will do that in my virtual environment, it will make sure that it has all the dependencies that it needs to test the code, which means that the Python knows test libraries. It will install the request library because it knows that it needs that's required by the agent check. It will then start the container Hello World. Then it will actually run the actual test. The test passed. Then it will clean up after itself. So by stopping and removing the container, and then my test passed. So now it's time for everything looks good. I have an agent check that collects the metric. I have a test that makes sure that it works. I have a CI to make sure that it will keep it will be able to run those tests in our CI environment. So it's time to commit. So I can commit that. So I already did. So I won't do it again. But I committed that, and can push that and create a pull request against the integrations extra repository. So I have a pull request here open. Okay. And I have my code. And so, yeah, zoom out a bit. And what happens when I open the PR is that we have Travis that will test the code and AppVeyor as well. Should have logged in. I don't have access to. Again, don't have access to Travis here, but yeah, never mind. So Travis will run the CI, test the code, and then once the CI passes, we'll give a quick review to the code. If it looks OK, then we'll merge it. And then so once you open a pull request and that the CI passes, then we'll review a pull request. If there are some changes to be made, then we'll ask you to make the required changes. Then we'll merge the pull request, and as soon as the pull request is merged, we'll build an individual package that will then send this package to the CI. And if it passes the CI, then we'll publish it to our apt and deb repositories. We'll have the same thing for MSI installers on Windows. And so everyone will be able to use the latest version of this integration, or will be able to use this new integration. It's still a work in progress. There are still a few things that need to be worked on. So feedback is more than welcome. We also want to add more features, like in the future we'll want for you to be able to share not only your agent checks, but we want you to be able to share your dashboards, your monitors in the same way. So it's something that's still in progress. So you should try it. We'll have a training session this afternoon, so feel free to come and ping me to discuss about that.